चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौ भक्त वृंद। Everyone together with your hands raised high. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining us. And we are on the 27th episode of this series of Mahabharata. And yesterday we started with the 7th Parva, or you can say the canto of Mahabharata, titled as Drona Parva. So this Drona Parva starts on the 11th day of the war of Kurukshetra, as we discussed yesterday. The first 10 days of war of Kurukshetra are described in Bhishma Parva, and from day 11 to day 15th are described in Drona Parva, which means on the 15th day, Drona or Dronacharya died. So what happens at the beginning of day 11? At the beginning of day 11, Dronacharya has been or had been appointed as the commander-in-chief of the Kauravas army. Being elated, being delighted, and being happy, Dronacharya told Duryodhan, ask for a blessing. And Duryodhan said to Dronacharya, my dear Dronacharya, please arrest and capture Yudhishthira Maharaj. And Dronacharya said, why? Why are you asking me to arrest Yudhishthira Maharaj? You don't want me to kill him? Have you changed? Have you developed some affection for your brother? Duryodhan smiled. He said, no, not at all. I have not developed any affection for my enemy. But because if you arrest Yudhishthira Maharaj, then I would force Yudhishthira Maharaj to play another dice game. And that way we'll defeat him and send him to the forest again for another 12 or 13 years. Dronacharya asked, okay, well, what would happen if you happen to kill him? So Duryodhan said, Dronacharya, if you or we or anyone else kills Yudhishthira Maharaj, then Arjuna will become so angry that none of us would be able to face Arjuna, and he would destroy all of us. Then Dronacharya understood the intention of Duryodhan. Duryodhan was scared of the anger of Arjuna, and he wanted not to defeat Pandavas by killing them now. He knew that he cannot defeat Pandavas or he cannot kill Arjuna, Bhima and all. So he just wanted to arrest Yudhishthira Maharaj. So Dronacharya said, yes, I promise I will try my best to arrest Yudhishthira Maharaj. So the day 11 began with an idea that Dronacharya is going to arrest Yudhishthira Maharaj. However, the spies of Yudhishthira Maharaj came back and informed Yudhishthira Maharaj that the Dronacharya have taken a commitment. He have taken a vow to arrest you. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj became scared and he asked Arjuna, Arjuna, you have to be by my side. You have to protect me. And like that, the day 11 went. A very fierce battle took place, but Dronacharya at the end of the day was unsuccessful in capturing Yudhishthira Maharaj or arresting him, because Arjuna was by the side of Yudhishthira Maharaj and he defeated Dronacharya. Dronacharya was discouraged, he was disappointed. He came back to his camp on the 11th evening and Duryodhan urged, my dear preceptor, you promised you would arrest Yudhishthira Maharaj, but you didn't do so. At that time, Dronacharya said, hey Duryodhan, I had already told you, take Arjuna away from Yudhishthira Maharaj. If and only if you are able to do it, then I can capture Yudhishthira Maharaj. In the presence of Arjuna, I cannot defeat Yudhishthira Maharaj and arrest him. With that understanding, day 12 began. And on day 12, there was a fierce battle between Arjuna and Susharma. We described about who Susharma was in yesterday's session. And the later half of the day, there was a very fierce battle between Arjuna and Bhagadatta. We also spoke about who was Bhagadatta. Bhagadatta was a son of Narakasur. And Narakasur was a son of Bhumi Devi and Bhumi Devi and our Varhadev, like that. So we spoke about Bhagadatta yesterday. I'm just giving a recap of what had happened yesterday's session. Finally, Arjuna was able to kill Bhagadatta and also his celestial elephant. However, before Arjuna could kill Bhagadatta, Bhagadatta had shot a very celestial weapon at Arjuna. And that weapon's name was Vaishnava Astra. So Krishna, as soon as Bhagadatta threw this very special weapon by the name of Vaishnava Astra, Krishna jumped from his seat. He was sitting on a seat of a charioteer. He jumped in the sky and he took this weapon on his chest. And when this fierce weapon fell on the chest of Krishna, it immediately turned into a flower garland. And everyone was shocked, even Bhagadatta was shocked. And that time Krishna told Arjuna, this is the time for you to attack. And that's the time Krishna charged his arrow with the power of Brahmastra and shot the arrow that pierced through the forehead of the elephant and then pierced the body, the chest of Bhagadatta. And like that, Bhagadatta fell on the ground and died. At that time, after killing Bhagadatta, Arjuna began to speak to Krishna, my dear Lord, why did you took the weapon on your body? What was so special about the weapon? Can you please tell me? And then Lord Shri Krishna told Arjuna the background of this weapon, that how long ago, Bhumi Devi, for the protection of her son Naraka, she had approached Vishnu and she had asked for a weapon by which nobody could be protected. Nobody could prevent himself. So Vishnu at that point of time gave Bhumi Devi this weapon of Vaishnava Astra, the most powerful weapon in the whole creation, because of which Naraka became undefeatable warrior or Kshatriya or a warrior in the whole creation. However, in the bad association of Banasura, he became a demon. He acted like a demon and his name became a Narakasur. Like that, Krishna explained Arjuna that Arjuna, if I would not have accepted this weapon on my chest, you would have died on the spot. And like this, the day 12 ended. Once again, Dronacharya was unsuccessful in capturing Yudhishthira Maharaj. And now Dronacharya goes back to the camp and Duryodhan is teasing Dronacharya. My dear preceptor, you have a soft heart. You have a liking towards the Pandavas. That's the reason you're not fighting at your full might. The second day have passed by and yet you're not able to capture Yudhishthira Maharaj. Like this, Duryodhan began to tease Dronacharya, and Dronacharya at that point of time told Duryodhan, I have explained you many times. We cannot defeat Arjuna and Krishna. It is impossible. Because Krishna and Arjuna are, Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead, and Arjuna cannot be defeated as long as Krishna is standing by his side. If you want me to arrest Yudhishthira Maharaj, I can try my best, but the results are not in my hands. It is beyond my limit. I can put all my power. So tomorrow, Duryodhan, I take a vow. Either I would capture Yudhishthira Maharaj, or else I would kill one of their most powerful warrior while that person is trying to defend Yudhishthira Maharaj. Only thing, Duryodhan, you have to do is take Arjuna away from Yudhishthira Maharaj. If you are able to take Arjuna away from Yudhishthira Maharaj, then either I would capture Yudhishthira Maharaj or one of their great warriors would be killed. Duryodhan was elated. Duryodhan was happy that he was able to instigate Dronacharya. And with that, day 13 began. Day 13 saw the death of a great warrior at the side of Pandavas by the name of Abhimanyu, son of Subhadra and Arjuna, a very, very dear pupil, also a nephew or niece, whatever you want to call it, of Lord Shri Krishna. Lord Shri Krishna had taken care of Abhimanyu for those 13 years when Pandavas had gone to the forest in exile, and Lord Shri Krishna had personally trained Abhimanyu in the warfare. This Abhimanyu, when he entered the battlefield of Kurukshetra, does anyone know how old Abhimanyu was? What was his age? Okay, let us see. Shall we have a chat box? I have enabled the chat box. Does anyone know how old was Abhimanyu when he entered the battlefield of Kurukshetra? He was 16-year-old. Only a teenager, 16 saal ka ladka. And he had recently got married. Who was Abhimanyu married to? What was the name of Abhimanyu's wife? Please type in. Yes, Uttara, correct. Abhimanyu was recently married. He was just 16-year-old. He was one of the youngest warrior in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So what happened? How did Abhimanyu, who was the dearmost, who was a gem of the eyes of the Pandavas, who was the most gentle son of Arjuna, the most obedient to his seniors, who was the most grateful, who was pious, who was virtuous, who always protected dharma, who was the hope of the Pandavas, who was a future king of the whole world. How did Pandavas could not protect Abhimanyu, and how did Abhimanyu died? Because Abhimanyu for Yudhishthira Maharaj was as dear as Arjuna, Bhima, or anyone else. So how could Pandavas could not protect Abhimanyu, and how did Kauravas managed to kill Abhimanyu? Makes a very interesting story of the 13th day of battle. So the 13th day of battle began with Susharma again challenging Arjuna and taking Arjuna away from the main battlefield. And here Yudhishthira Maharaj being protected by Satyaki, by Bhima and many other warriors, when they're charging ahead towards the Kauravas army, Yudhishthira Maharaj is shocked. Yudhishthira Maharaj could not believe his eyes that what Dronacharya had planned for the day. Dronacharya had assembled the army of Kauravas in a particular formation which is called as Chakravyuh, which is also called as Padma formation, which means today the warriors have formed a kind of a circular combination, and there are different warriors standing on a different position. And to break this Chakravyuh formation, if you don't break this Chakravyuh formation, then you lose. And if you break it, that's only the hope that you could fight against Kauravas. Yudhishthira Maharaj was worried. Dronacharya's plan was executed and the trap was laid. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was wondering what to do against it. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj realized there are only two people at my army who knows how to break this trap. One is Arjuna, and second is the son of Arjuna, that is Abhimanyu. Yudhishthira Maharaj, Arjuna was not there. He approached Abhimanyu and he asked Abhimanyu, you know that how to break this trap? Why don't you lead us? Abhimanyu immediately agreed. But he said, my dear uncle, my dear father, I only know how to break into this Chakravyuh, how to break into the ranks of the soldiers. I don't know how to come out of it. Yudhishthira Maharaj promised, Abhimanyu, don't worry, you lead. I, Bhima, Nakul, Sahadev, Satyaki, and many other warriors will be behind you. You break this Chakravyuh, you break the formation of the warriors, and we will rally behind you and will enter inside the Chakravyuh and then destroy the Kauravas race. Hearing that, Abhimanyu became excited and he followed the order of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Yudhishthira Maharaj had a fear in his mind. I am putting Abhimanyu's life at stake. If, God forbidden, somehow we are not able to enter the Chakravyuh, then what would happen to Abhimanyu? Abhimanyu will not survive. What would Arjuna do then? For my protection, I am putting Abhimanyu's life at risk. Then suddenly Yudhishthira thought, but I'm not putting Abhimanyu's life at risk. I am with Abhimanyu. I'm fighting along with him. I would protect Abhimanyu. And like that, Yudhishthira Maharaj, having no other alternative, because that Chakravyuh had to be broken, otherwise Yudhishthira Maharaj would have got defeated, he ordered Abhimanyu, please rally, please proceed towards the Chakravyuh, towards the Kauravas army. And like that, Abhimanyu went ahead. Now, these beautiful paintings that you see here are hand drawn by an artist by the name of Dheeraj Verma. I've put his name on the credit here. So a couple of years ago, he had published a magazine by the name of The One, where he had drawn almost 93 paintings of this 13th day of battlefield where Abhimanyu fought. So a very beautiful magazine. Nonetheless, I've just taken some of the clippings from his paintings. So all these paintings belongs to Dheeraj Verma. Let's come back to the storyline again. Here, Abhimanyu proceeded ahead. So how did Abhimanyu knew the secret of breaking the Chakravyuh? When Abhimanyu was in the womb of Subhadra, at that point of time, Arjuna was once telling to Subhadra about this Chakravyuh formation. However, when Arjuna told Subhadra how to break into the Chakravyuh, listening to that, Subhadra fell asleep. Because of that, Subhadra could not hear. In other words, Abhimanyu could not hear the later part of the story. After you break in, how to break out and come out of the Chakravyuh. Because of which Abhimanyu only had a partial knowledge. However, fearless, dauntless, he walked towards the Chakravyuh. He broke into the Chakravyuh. He created a big caveat. He created a big, you can say, a gap in the Chakravyuh where Abhimanyu entered. And Yudhishthira Maharaj and all other Pandava brothers could see the gap, and they were about to enter into the Chakravyuh. Suddenly, one formidable warrior came and stood in front of Yudhishthira Maharaj and the Pandavas. And this formidable warrior fought so fearlessly that neither Yudhishthira Maharaj nor Bhima nor Nakul, Sahadev and other warriors like Satyaki, none of them could, any one of them could defeat that warrior and go inside the Chakravyuh. And Yudhishthira Maharaj, with his own eyes, he saw the gap that was created by Abhimanyu was getting closed in slowly and gradually. The Chakravyuh that was broken by Abhimanyu was finally sealed back again, and Abhimanyu is trapped inside. And Pandavas are outside the Chakravyuh fighting against this formidable warrior. To the surprise of Yudhishthira Maharaj, they are amazed. Why all of us together are not able to defeat this warrior? And this warrior dauntlessly, fearlessly is fighting against the Pandavas and was able to hold back Yudhishthira, Bhimsen, Nakul, Sahadev, Satyaki, and many other warriors all alone. And because of this person, Abhimanyu was stuck inside the Chakravyuh. Does anyone know who was this person? I have enabled the chat. Would you like to type in the answer? Who was this warrior because of which the Pandavas, particularly Yudhishthira and Bhima, could not enter the Chakravyuh? And yes, that was Jayadratha. How Jayadratha, who was earlier defeated by Arjuna and Bhima when Jayadratha had kidnapped Draupadi, Arjuna and Bhima had beaten down Jayadratha so easily. How Jayadratha became so powerful. And the story goes as, when Arjuna and Bhima had punished Jayadratha, had insulted Jayadratha for kidnapping Draupadi, Jayadratha had gone to the forest and performed severe penances, and he had worshipped Lord Shiva. He had pleased Lord Shiva and he had got a boon. He wanted a blessing from Lord Shiva to give him a blessing that he can kill Pandavas. Lord Shiva said, I cannot give you that blessing. You cannot do that. That's not possible. Then Jayadratha said, give me the blessing that I could protect, I could fight with the Pandavas and I can hold them. Lord Shiva said, yes, I can give you this promise. However, I can give you this vow or promise only for 4 brothers, not against Arjuna. You can never stand against Arjuna. In other words, Jayadratha was given the blessing that he could fight against 4 brothers, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Nakul, and Sahadev, and hold them off at their place for the one whole day. And Jayadratha took use of that blessing today. And because of which Abhimanyu, a 16-year-old boy of Arjuna, is now stuck inside the Chakravyuh. What did Abhimanyu do inside the Chakravyuh? Abhimanyu was challenged by one after one the great warriors, and Abhimanyu, the youngest among all, was fighting. First, Shalya came. Abhimanyu gave him a tight fight and defeated him, and Shalya ran away for his life. Then Shalya's younger brother came. Abhimanyu fought with him and killed him, and everyone was shocked. Then Dushasan came forward, and Dushasan said, I'm going to kill you. Abhimanyu, Dushasan, who was almost triple the age of Abhimanyu, single-handedly defeated Dushasan. Dushasan, for his life, had to run away from the battlefield. And then Karna came. Everyone thought, Duryodhan thought, at least Karna would be able to defeat Abhimanyu. Even Karna got defeated by Abhimanyu. Such was the valor of this young boy, Abhimanyu. Karna was so severely injured that he had to be taken away on the another chariot and taken away from that particular area where Abhimanyu was fighting. Then many other came. Then Duryodhan came. Duryodhan was defeated. Then Duryodhan's son Lakshman came. Lakshman fought with Abhimanyu, and Abhimanyu shot an arrow and pierced the body of Lakshman and shot another arrow that chopped off the head of Lakshman. Duryodhana was shocked. His son had been killed in front of his eyes by this 16-year-old boy. He has defeated Dushasan, he has defeated Shalya, he has defeated Karna, he has defeated even Drona, he has defeated Duryodhana also. He has defeated Ashwathama. Nobody is able to face Abhimanyu. At that point of time, Karna and Duryodhana approached Dronacharya and they said, Dronacharya, you are the commander-in-chief. You have to tell us, how do we stop the unstoppable? Abhimanyu, the youngest among all, cannot be stopped by any one of us. Please tell us, please guide us. How can we destroy this Abhimanyu? By now, this 16-year-old boy fighting on behalf of Pandavas had killed 200,000 warriors and the soldiers. One man single-handedly had killed 200,000 warriors. Drona put his head down and he told to Duryodhana and Karna, actually this boy Abhimanyu is by no means any less powerful than Arjuna. In fact, he's equal in his might and power to Arjuna and very dear to Krishna and Arjuna. None of us had the power to defeat Abhimanyu. There is only one way to defeat Abhimanyu, which means we have to break the codes of the codes of law, or the codes what we have decided in the beginning. We have to break the laws. We all, 6 of us, Dronacharya, Duryodhana, Ashwathama, Kripakrita, Varma, and Karna, all of us have to together surround him and attack this boy. And then Dronacharya instructed how Karna, you should break the chariot, how Duryodhana, you should kill the charioteer, how Ashwathama, you should kill the horses. Like that, everyone attacked Abhimanyu from all the sides, and Abhimanyu finally was left in the battlefield on foot. He lost all his weapons, he lost his chariot, he lost his charioteer, he has nothing, he doesn't even have his armor. He has been deprived of everything, yet Abhimanyu was not fearful. Abhimanyu took the wheel and then he charged towards Dronacharya. Dronacharya took the arrows and broke the wheel. And then Ashwathama came to attack him. Then Abhimanyu took a mace and broke the chariot of Ashwathama. And Ashwathama at the last minute, at the last nick of time, jumped off the chariot and saved his life. Like that, Abhimanyu being pierced by arrows at every nook and corner of the body still did not stop fighting. At that point of time, Dushasan's son, whose name was Durjaya, was very powerful, was a very expert in mace fighting. He jumped from his chariot and he came charging at Abhimanyu to kill him. Abhimanyu took another mace and he began to fight with Durjaya. At one point of time, both of them smashed with all their might, lifted the mace above their head and they smashed the mace on each other's heads. Both Abhimanyu and Durjaya fell flat on the ground, blood oozing out from the head of both of the warriors. Abhimanyu's body was particularly oozing blood at every corner. Abhimanyu had been fighting all day long, all by himself. However, Durjaya had just started to fight. So Durjaya could get back onto his feet very quickly. He lifted the mace and with great struggle, Abhimanyu got up on his feet. But before he could lift the mace to defend himself, Durjaya came again and with all his might threw mace on Abhimanyu, and Abhimanyu fell on the ground lifeless. The great warrior, the great son of Arjuna, Abhimanyu, was killed by a deceit. As soon as Abhimanyu died, all the warriors came down from his chariot and they began to shout, they began to cry, they gave out the cry of a joy. And when Yudhishthira Maharaj heard the sound of the bugles, the sound of the drums, the sound of the conch, the sound of celebration coming from inside the Chakravyuh, Yudhishthira Maharaj's heart sank. He was petrified. He was scared. He knew what would be the case. And soon the sun set, the war ended. And Yudhishthira Maharaj got to see the lifeless body of Abhimanyu. Yudhishthira Maharaj was totally fear-stricken. How would Yudhishthira Maharaj respond to Arjuna? What would he tell Arjuna? Because for his own protection, Yudhishthira Maharaj decided to put the life of Abhimanyu at stake. Yudhishthira Maharaj began to cry. And like this, the Abhimanyu fought till the last breath and was totally fearless. He fought with the warriors who were at least 3 times the size of Abhimanyu. What happened, Nandakumar? You're getting angry at Kauravas? You seem to be dancing in anger or frustration. Okay. All right. So mind you, by the way, I can see you on the camera, okay? So whatever you do, I can see what's going on. All right, now you're about to switch off your camera, fine. Anyways, come back to the story. And now Yudhishthira Maharaj has returned back to his camp. Everyone is grief-stricken. Bhima, Nakul, Sahadev, Satyaki, all the warriors, they don't know how to face Arjuna. At that point in time, Vyasdev came to meet Yudhishthira Maharaj, and Arjuna have not yet returned from the war. And Yudhishthira Maharaj asked Vyasdev ji, what do I do? Because of me, Abhimanyu have died. And that time Vyasdev said, hey Yudhishthira Maharaj, this is a war. This is not a game. Somebody has to die and somebody has to live. Be happy that Abhimanyu, while fighting for Dharma, died, and that is a glorious death. So do not grieve, do not cry for the death, because this is what is called as to be the best death for a warrior. In the meantime, Arjuna is returning back to the camp. When Arjuna is returning back, he saw bad omens. He saw there is a pin drop silence at the Pandavas camp. Nobody is speaking everything. Nobody is celebrating. Nobody is there to welcome Arjuna. In fact, when Arjuna got down from his chariot, like every other day, when Arjuna would come back from the war, Abhimanyu would be there to greet Arjuna. Today, Abhimanyu is not there. Nobody is looking in the eyes of Arjuna. As soon as anyone saw Arjuna, they turned their face away. Arjuna was confused. Arjuna could sense that something serious had happened today. Where is my son Abhimanyu? Why there is so much sadness in our camp? Arjuna, along with Madhava, entered into the royal tent where all the Pandavas and their seats were there. And when Arjuna entered, he was shocked. He saw Yudhishthira Maharaj sitting on his seat. He saw Bhim sitting on his seat. He saw Nakul, Sahadev, Satyaki, and other warriors. However, the seat of his son Abhimanyu was empty. Abhimanyu was not sitting there. Arjuna was petrified. Arjuna fell at the feet of Yudhishthira Maharaj and began to ask, where is Abhimanyu? I heard today Dronacharya had formed Chakravyuh. Apart from me, only Abhimanyu knew how to break that Chakravyuh. Did you send my son to Chakravyuh? And did you sacrifice the life of my son just to protect yourself? Please tell me what happened. How did Abhimanyu die? Why are you not telling me anything? Who killed Abhimanyu? And like this, Arjuna began to howl and cry. Arjuna was like almost lifeless. Arjuna said, there's no point of me living if my son is not there. A 16-year-old boy, a gentle and a loving son, a loving husband has been killed so early at his age. How would I continue to live? And then finally, Arjuna, crying like this, he turned towards Krishna. He said, Krishna, like some of you had a question that you were asking me yesterday. And that's what I said. We'll answer this question for you today. I believe Vrinda had asked a question and some other kids also had asked a question. And the question was, why Lord Shri Krishna allowed Abhimanyu to be killed. Why Lord Shri Krishna did not protect Abhimanyu? Let's see what Krishna said when Arjuna asked. Arjuna told to Krishna, my dear Lord, you know everything. You were aware what's going on with Abhimanyu. Why didn't you told me? Why didn't we come back and protected Abhimanyu? Why didn't you inform me anything? More or less, all of you also had the same question. Why did Krishna did not protect Abhimanyu? So what did Lord Shri Krishna told Arjuna? Krishna said, Arjuna, don't grieve. Do not cry. There is no better death for a warrior than to fall in a battle while facing the enemy. Arjuna, don't you know the secret of life? Haven't I told you Bhagavad Gita? And what are the four fundamental truths or eternal truths that Krishna tells to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita? What are the four fundamental eternal truths of life that Krishna tells to Arjuna? Does any one of you remember that? Who would like to tell me those four eternal truths that Krishna tells to Arjuna? And the same thing Krishna reminded Arjuna today. Arjuna, don't you know the truth? There is nothing better for a warrior to die in the battle. Gagi, you're almost about to fly off. Yes, go ahead, unmute.
Birth, death, old age, and disease.
Okay, not the exact answer. Those are the four kinds of suffering. What are the four eternal truths that Krishna teaches to Arjuna? And we had made four slogans for it. At the end of Bhagavad Gita, we all had recited those four slogans. So who would like to give a try? Okay. Please, in case if you want to give an answer, you have to switch on your camera. Then I see your hands up. So many others are coming up slowly. Okay, great. So I see Brinda's hand up here. Brinda, go ahead. Can't hear you, Brinda. Looks like it is not in your destiny to give the answer. What to do? So we can't hear you. Sorry, we'll have to go to someone else. So who would like to give an answer? Prahalad, I see your hand up. Go ahead. Oh,
I am not everything, God exists. This life is not everything, reincarnation exists. This body is not everything, soul exists. This material world is not everything, spiritual world exists.
Yes, wonderful. Very good. So God, you got it now? So what you spoke were the four sufferings. These are the four eternal truths. Okay? All right. Jagannath, do you have some fifth eternal truth to be told? You have some new truth to say? These are the four truths only. There is nothing new. We'll come back to you afterwards. We'll go to the session. So these are the four truths. All of you have given the answer, and this is what it is. Okay? I'll come back to you. Don't worry. I'll come back to you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, there is a disturbance in your voice.
I changed my setting now. Is it better?
Yeah, Prabhuji, it is better now.
Yes. So this is a credit to Zoom. It keeps creating troubles with the sound. Okay. So Krishna reminded Arjuna, don't you know these truths? Stop crying, stop grieving for a warrior who has died. And this is the best death that any warrior can expect. You should not cry, rather you should console everyone. And at that point of time, Arjuna got some sense and he stopped crying. However, Arjuna went to Yudhishthira Maharaj and he said, please tell me how my son was killed, what happened? Hearing to that, Yudhishthira Maharaj narrated the whole day what happened. And that's the time Yudhishthira Maharaj told that how Jayadratha came and fought with us. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj, actually when Vyasadeva had come to meet Yudhishthira Maharaj before Arjuna came back, that time Yudhishthira Maharaj had asked Vyasadeva, my dear great sir, my dear great Gurudev, how we were not able to defeat Jayadratha. And that's the time Vyasadeva had told told Yudhishthira Maharaj about the blessing that Jayadratha had received from Lord Shiva. So here Yudhishthira Maharaj told, because Jayadratha had received that boon and blessing from Lord Shiva, we could not defeat Jayadratha. And that's how Jayadratha became the cause of the death of your son. At that time, hearing this, Arjuna became very, very angry. And then Arjuna took a vow. Because of this rascal, who we pardoned once and made a big mistake, will now not be pardoned, will not be given a second chance. I take a vow that tomorrow before the sunset, I will chop off the head of Jayadratha, and whoever comes on my way to protect will also be slain. As soon as Arjuna made this vow, Krishna took his conch and blew his conch shell. And then Arjuna said, I also take a vow. If I am not able to defeat Jayadratha, then I would put fire on myself and burn myself to death and kill myself. Now Krishna was in anxiety. Krishna was excited when Arjuna took a vow that I'll kill Jayadratha. He blew the conch. But for the second vow, Krishna did not blow the conch. Krishna had anxiety on his head. He said, Hey Baba, ke kar re? What did you do? What kind of vow have you taken? Don't you know this is so difficult? And here Arjuna and Krishna are conversing. In the meantime, let's go back to the camps of Kauravas. What is happening at the camp of Kauravas? There was a big celebration at the camp of Kauravas. They were happy. Finally, they have killed someone who was extremely powerful and dear to the Pandavas. And suddenly, everyone sitting in the royal tent of Kauravas heard the bugles and the sounds of the drums and the sound of the conch coming from the side of the Pandavas. Duryodhan, Dronacharya, Karna, Kritavarma, everyone was shocked. Arey, what is going on? We thought the Pandavas must be grief-stricken. Why are they celebrating? Why are they so joyful? Everyone got up from their seat. And at that point of time, suddenly, Jayadratha, who was not present at that point of time in that assembly, came running to the tent, royal tent, where all of the Kaurava leaders were sitting. His face was stricken with terror. He had sweat all over his face and he was panting. He was like, then Duryodhana said, what happened? Please say. And Jayadratha was not able to speak. And finally, after a few minutes, Jayadratha said, I am going back home. I am not fighting anymore. And Duryodhana was shocked. He said, what do you mean? You're quitting, you're going back home. And then Jayadratha informed Duryodhana the reason for happiness, the reason for the sound that is coming from the Pandavas camp. Jayadratha said, my spies have told me that Arjuna have taken a vow, that tomorrow he would chop me. I am so scared because Arjuna's vow can never be failed. If Arjuna have taken a vow, he would definitely kill me. Unless all of you take a vow to protect me. If you take a vow to protect me, then I'll stay back, or else I am going back to home. I am retiring. I'm quitting from my job. I'm not fighting anymore. And Duryodhana said, no, wait. Don't leave. We promise you will protect you. In fact, that's a great opportunity. If we are able to protect you, the war would end tomorrow. Why would war end tomorrow if Jayadratha stays alive? Because if Jayadratha stays alive, then Arjuna would have to kill himself by putting up a fire on his body. And if Arjuna dies, then Yudhishthira Maharaj would not be able to continue the war. He cannot face the Kauravas. And Duryodhana thought that tomorrow would definitely be the day when Kauravas will win the war. Jayadratha took promise from Dronacharya that Dronacharya would protect Jayadratha. But the question is, will Arjuna really succeed in killing Jayadratha? Dronacharya, although gave promise to Jayadratha that he would protect, but Dronacharya knew that even he cannot protect Jayadratha. Why? Because Jayadratha is not faced alone with Arjuna. In fact, by the side of Arjuna, there is Krishna, the master of all mystics. As long as Krishna is there by the side of Arjuna, Krishna would play some trick, would do something because of which Arjuna's vow would be fulfilled. Drona did not tell Jayadratha on his face, but Drona knew that Jayadratha is definitely going to die tomorrow. And with that, the 13th day ended and the 14th morning began. And this is the day 14 where a very, very fierce battle took place. And this is the longest day of battle in the whole 18 days of war. On this particular day, the battle did not take place only in the time of day. In fact, there was another battle that took place after sunset. Only day in the 18 days of war, when the battle happened, in the daytime as well as in the nighttime. If this day was such a bloody day where more than one third of the total army and the warriors on both the sides were killed. So many warriors were slain on this single day. Why? Because Kauravas were in the defensive mood. They had to protect Jayadratha at any cost. And Arjuna was on the assault mode. He had to kill Jayadratha by any means. So will Arjuna succeed? He is faced with a great challenge. He has a great army standing in front of him, where Jayadratha is standing right at the back of that huge army. How would Arjuna ever cross by Dronacharya, Karna, and so many other great warriors? What would happen? The day began, the war began, and Arjuna began to cause havoc. He kind of like, when there is a forest fire, in the forest fire, the whole jungle gets burnt out. Similarly, in this particular day, it was like a fire. Arjuna was causing fire in the army of Kauravas. He was just uprooting and destroying whoever came in front of Arjuna. Duryodhan, when he saw the situation, how Arjuna was unstoppable, nobody could stop Arjuna, and Arjuna is piercing through the army and the ranks of the Kauravas and approaching near to Jayadratha. Duryodhan approached Dronacharya. Dronacharya, oh preceptor, Arjuna is crushing our army, our forces. Please do something about it. You have to protect us. You're only our hope. And Dronacharya said, Duryodhan, how many times should I tell you? I have tried every possible thing in my way. I have created the most complex structure of army's formation, yet Arjuna is able to pierce it. What can I do? The man has a right to perform his duty, but the results are not in his hand. Unfortunately, your enemy Arjuna has a charioteer by the name of Krishna. That Krishna gives the result of our work. And unfortunately, that Supreme Lord is sitting at the side of the Pandavas. I have done my duty, but the result is awarded by Krishna, and Krishna is at the side of Pandavas. So how do you expect that you would be victorious by any means? How do you expect Arjuna would not be able to kill Jayadratha? However, yet I would put all my might, and that's the reason, that's what I have done, and there is nothing else I can do. Right now, between Jayadratha and Arjuna, there are only two warriors who could fight with Arjuna. One is I, Dronacharya, and second is you, Duryodhan. And I cannot leave my position. If I leave my position, then other warriors from Pandavas would come and enter our army, and they would pierce and they would come close to Jayadratha. So only person right now who could fight with Arjuna is you, Duryodhan. You are a mighty hero. Go and fight. Duryodhan was shocked. And he said, are you kidding me? Are you joking with me? Oh, that's a different thing when I encourage others to fight with Arjuna. But are you seeing I fight with Arjuna? Hell with Jayadratha, let Jayadratha die. If I go in front of Arjuna, Arjuna would kill me. What is the point in protecting Jayadratha? The whole idea is to protect myself. If I die, then there is no question of protecting Jayadratha and continuing the war. So Drona suggested Duryodhan to fight, and Duryodhan said, no, that's not possible. I can fight with Indra, but who would fight with Arjuna if he's so angry right now? At that point of time, Dronacharya said, Duryodhan, don't worry. I would put an armor on your body, a protective armor, with such mantras. I would chant special mantras, and I would put an armor across your body in such a way that not even a single arrow of Arjuna would be able to pierce your armor. And you can fearlessly face Arjuna, and Arjuna would not be able to cause harm to you. Even he would not be able to pierce a tiny portion of your body. And that's what happened. Duryodhan went, when Dronacharya had tied the armor of Duryodhan once again by chanting special mantras, Duryodhan went and challenged Arjuna. And Duryodhan is shooting arrows at Arjuna, and Arjuna is shooting arrows at Duryodhan. And all the arrows of Arjuna, which were shot by Arjuna, would hit the armor of Duryodhan, but would not pierce the armor. Just like you throw a flower at somebody, it hits the body and falls on the ground. It was like that. Krishna was surprised. Krishna said, Arjuna, what happened? Have your Gandiva bow lost its strength? Why your arrows are not piercing the armor? And then Arjuna said to Krishna, my dear Lord, Dronacharya had put an armor to Duryodhan, because of which my arrows are not able to pierce Duryodhan. And there Duryodhan was boasting about his strength. Arjuna, you think you're very powerful? Shoot whatever arrow you want to shoot. Let's see how much power you have if you can break my armor. And like that, Duryodhana was boasting about his valor. At that point of time, Arjuna took an arrow, chanted a mantra, and he shot an arrow aimed at a fingernail of Duryodhana. In the whole body of Duryodhana, only the fingernail was visible, which was unprotected from that armor, which Duryodhana was not aware, but Arjuna knew about the potency of that armor and the limitations. Arjuna shot an arrow, one arrow that went and became 10 arrows, and those 10 arrows came, and each of the arrow pierced the fingernail of Duryodhana. As soon as the fingernails of Duryodhana was pierced, Duryodhana began to jump like a monkey on his chariot. Oh, protect me, oh, protect me, oh, protect me. Like that, Duryodhana ran away from the battlefield. The war continued. In the meantime, Yudhishthira Maharaj saw how difficult it is becoming for Arjuna to approach Jayadratha. He sent Bhima, he sent Satyaki to protect and defend Arjuna so that Arjuna could approach and kill Jayadratha. Only 2 hours are remaining in the war, in the sunset, and still Arjuna is way, way, way far away from Jayadratha. In the meantime, when Bhima came, Bhima was faced by Dronacharya. Dronacharya fought with Bhima, and Bhima defeated Dronacharya, in fact. 8 times he destroyed the chariot of Dronacharya. Finally, Dronacharya had to move away, and then Karna came to fight with Dronacharya. It's very interesting. Abhimanyu defeated Karna. And now there is a very massive fight which happens between Bhima and Karna. And Karna was far much more skilled in bow and arrow than Bhima. Yet again, Bhima was able to overpower Karna and was able to defeat him. Then other warriors and the other brothers of Duryodhana came at the side of Karna to protect him from the attack of Bhima. And Bhima, one by one, began to attack the brothers of Duryodhana. And today, in a single day, Bhima killed 31 brothers of Duryodhana. When Duryodhana saw how his brothers have been chopped off, have been uprooted, have been killed single-handedly on a single day by Bhima, Duryodhana lost all his hope. Duryodhana began to cry, what is happening? Is there any hope for me to win the war? Will the demons come to my rescue? They had promised me. At that point of time, Duryodhana looked up into the sky and he realized the sun is about to set. There is only a few minutes remaining, and that was his only hope. If somehow they could keep Arjuna away from Jayadratha, then the Kauravas could win the war. Duryodhana again got his enthusiasm and went and rallied his forces again, which were running away from the battlefield. And now everyone is there standing right in front of Arjuna. Dronacharya, Ashwathama, Kripacharya, Karna, Shalya, Duryodhana, and many other Maharathis are facing Duryodhana. And only 30 minutes are remaining for sun to set. And here Arjuna is fighting, but he is not able to penetrate across Dronacharya's attack. And Jayadratha is still far, far away. And now time is passing by, and now only few minutes are remaining for the sun to set in. And the situation, just to give you an example, is, of course, is very tense, but to give you an example, imagine how many of you like to watch cricket, or you have, maybe have seen cricket matches? Raise your hands. Looks like all the kids love cricket matches in India. Okay, so let me give a guess. Would it be if India plays Pakistan in a World Cup final match, would that be the most favorite cricket match for you? India versus Pakistan in a final World Cup match? Or India versus Australia? So whatever is the choice of your team, you choose it. I'll take India and Pakistan. That would be my favorite one. So imagine there is an India-Pakistan World Cup final. India is batting. And Indian batsman, the last over, 3 balls are remaining. And in 3 balls, if India has to win, they need 12 runs. And now the batsman, let's say whatever your favorite batsman who's facing the bowler, maybe, what is that? Kohli? Virat Kohli, I believe. MS Dhoni or whatever is the name of the batsman. They are facing the Pakistan bowler. I don't know who's playing from the Pakistan side now. Maybe Shoaib Akhtar or Wasim Akram, whatever. And now the third ball, the third last ball of the World Cup final is played and is thrown at the Indian batsman. And our cricketer who is facing the bowler swings his bat and the ball goes to a boundary for a 4-run. And there's a big applause. There's a big applaud in the stadium. Yay! 2 balls, 8 runs to go. And there are 2 combinations possible, 1-6, 1-4, or 1-6 or 1 double. The second last delivery is bowled and the batsman again swings the bat. However, he only manages to make 1 run. Only 1 run. Now you have a final delivery. And to win a World Cup match, how many runs are needed? How many runs are needed? Raise your fingers. How many? How many runs are needed? Let me see how much attentive you are. 7 runs are needed to win. How would you score 7 runs on a last delivery? The maximum you can score is a 6 runs. So if you are sitting in a stadium watching this cricket match, so what would you be praying? My dear Lord, let the bowler do this, do that. What would be the point? Anyone wants to say? What would they like to say? That the bowler do this and that. What? Okay, Jagannath, you seem excited. Go ahead.
The bowler should injured and the match should draw.
I mean, if the bowler is injured, that doesn't make you victorious. That's not.
No,
Okay. You lost your chance, Jagannath. Raghav, 1 attempt quickly. You have 1
Prabhuji,
ball.
the ball
and you have
should be a
7
no ball.
extras. Huh?
Prabhuji, the ball should be a no ball.
Yeah, a no ball or maybe a white ball. So you get 1 extra run, isn't it? And your batsmen have still a chance to hit a 6. So something, just to give you an example, is a scenario that is happening right now with Arjuna facing Jayadratha. The time is running out and Pandavas are hoping some way, somehow, the Kauravas could give their guard. In other words, they could somehow lower their weapon and somehow Jayadratha could come out in front to Arjuna so that Arjuna can aim at Jayadratha and chop off his head. And at the last nick of time, this is the last delivery, and you did 7 runs to win a World Cup. It's a win, lose or die, or win or lose, or live or die condition like that. And that point of time, slowly, the sun is setting down. And everyone knows the game is about to get over. And if Jayadratha survives, Arjuna would die. Everyone is intensely looking at the sun. What's going to happen? And all the Pandavas, Kauravas are still fighting fiercely. Suddenly, to an utter surprise of everyone, the sun, which was slowly, gradually setting in, suddenly, immediately there was a sunset. The sun disappeared. And it was a complete dark. As soon as there was a complete dark, the Kauravas took off their upper cloth and they began to dance. Yay, we win the war, Jayadratha is alive. The Arjuna had to die now. And everyone threw their weapon down because the day has ended. The sunset has happened, the day has ended. Now there is no more war. And Arjuna was confused. Arjuna turned around and he looked at Lord Shri Krishna. And Lord Shri Krishna said, Arjuna, don't lose your focus. Keep your eyes on Jayadratha. As soon as Jayadratha comes out, charge your weapon, charge your arrow with Brahmastra. And as soon as I give you an indication, shoot an arrow and kill Jayadratha. However, there was a condition to kill Jayadratha. And Lord Shri Krishna again protected Arjuna and told Arjuna, but listen to a condition. If you shoot an arrow and kill Jayadratha and Jayadratha's head falls off on the ground, then you will also die. Why? Because his father, who is performing tapasya and austerities in some far off place, had blessed his son. Whoever cuts off the head of my son, or whoever is responsible to throw the head of my son on the ground, would also die. So Krishna told Arjuna, empower your arrow with the Brahmastra power in such a way that it chops off the head of Jayadratha, and the head of Jayadratha should fall on the lap of his father, who is sitting in so and so forest. And Arjuna got his bow and arrow in place, and as soon as Jayadratha came out, and he began to dance, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. And in the meantime, what had happened? How come suddenly sunset happened? When Krishna saw it was the last ball, there was no hope for Arjuna to hit a 7 runs. The Lord Shri Krishna has called for Sudarshan Chakra, and he had thrown Sudarshan Chakra, which had covered the sun. So it was not a sunset, it was indeed a solar eclipse. And as soon as when Krishna saw there was an opportunity, Krishna indicated to Sudarshan Chakra, and Sudarshan Chakra disappeared. And suddenly there was a sunrise, the full blossom sun. Kauravas were shocked, they were flabbergasted, they didn't know what happened. And Arjuna, who was focused, who was attentive, thanks to Arjuna's advice, Arjuna immediately shot an arrow that went off speeding without anyone could ever understand what happened, chopped off the head of Jayadratha. And Jayadratha's headless body fell on the ground, and that head went flying off deep into the forest onto the lap of Jayadratha's father. As soon as the head fell on the lap of Jayadratha's father, father got shocked, he got up. As soon as he stood up, the head, which actually had fallen on the lap of Jayadratha's father, now from his body fell to the ground. As soon as the head fell to the ground, Jayadratha's father also died at the spot because of the blessing he had given. And like this, the Kauravas, particularly Duryodhana, when he saw what had happened, began to cry. He said, there is no hope. Vidura, Dronacharya, Bhishma Pitama, Kripacharya, everyone is indeed was correct. We can never defeat Pandavas. This is all because of Krishna. Again, Krishna tricked, and again, Krishna protected Arjuna. We have no hope. And like this, the Kauravas began to cry, and Pandavas began to rejoice. The day ended, Arjuna returned, embraced, offered obeisances to Yudhishthira Maharaj, embraced Satyaki, embraced Bhima, and they all went back to the camp. However, the war did not end. Something very fierce took place later in the evening. And for the first time on the 14th day, all the demons, all the demonic forces, all the Rakshasas, which were on the side of Pandavas and the Kauravas, they came out and they fought another fierce battle in the night. And this is Ghatotkach, whose chariot is being pulled into the into Kurukshetra right now by his Rakshasa warriors, and where another fierce battle is about to begin. What happened, on the evening of 14th, and how there was a whole night battle between the Rakshasas, who won, who lost, will make a discussion of our next session of Mahabharata. With that, we conclude for today, where we have discussed the first 4 days of Drona Parva, from 11th day to the 14th day. On the 13th day, all the rules were broken when Dronacharya gave permission to kill Abhimanyu unlawfully. As a revenge, as a revolt, Arjuna took a vow to kill Jayadratha. And on the 14th day of the war of Kurukshetra, the most fierce battle was fought. And Lord Shri Krishna time and again came to rescue Pandavas, particularly Arjuna, and again protected Arjuna. And once again, by throwing his Sudarshan Chakra, he caused solar eclipse, because of which the Kauravas began to enjoy prematurely. And then Arjuna shot an arrow and killed Jayadratha. On this particular day, the 14th day of war, Bhima killed another 31 sons, or 30 sons of Dhritarashtra, or brothers of Duryodhana. So far, 61 sons of Dhritarashtra have been killed. 14 sons were killed on the 4th day, and 17 sons were killed on the 7th day. And on the 14th day, another 30 sons were killed, which makes 61 sons of Duryodhana, of Dhritarashtra, have died in the battlefield. Everyone is crying and everyone is shocked. Yet, Dronacharya is still alive. One last hope of Duryodhana to win the war. However, that hope would not last for long. The 15th day, which we'll discuss next time, eventually Dronacharya would also be killed. How? Again, Krishna would come to the rescue of Pandavas, and Krishna would tell the secret to Pandavas how Dronacharya can be killed. With that, we conclude here. However, before concluding, I have a question for all of you. I see some of you have your hands already raised above, but before you all ask a question, I have a question for all of you. So please pay attention carefully, okay? So let's see who can answer that question the first. Are you all ready? Attentive? Question is very simple. Not that simple. And the question is, day 14, we have already discussed 14 days of war of Kurukshetra. And the question is, tell all those incidents where Krishna had protected Arjuna in the war so far. Or Pandavas. Who all would like to give an answer? Which all incidents you remember up to the 14 days of the war when Krishna had protected? If Krishna would not have protected, Arjuna and probably Pandavas would have died by now. Okay. Vrinda, you still want to take a try? Let's see if the fate or destiny is with you this time. Let's see if your speaker works or the mic works. Oh my goodness. Destiny is not in your favor. We can't hear you, Vrinda. You want us? We'll enable the chat box. I've enabled the chat for others, but there's some issue with your mic probably. We can't hear you. You see if somebody can fix it for you. We'll come back to you in the meantime. So who would like to give an answer? Who has not spoken today so far? So find out, quote the incidents. Okay, don't write the incidents in the chat box. I'll disable the chat box. Okay, I see Haripriya's hand up. Haripriya, give one incident. Oh, somehow I'm not able to hear you also. Are you all able to hear Haripriya? No. Nobody is able to hear you also. Vishwakiran, can you hear me? Can you speak up, Vishwakiran?
Can you, Prabhuji,
Yes.
can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, we can hear you. Go ahead, Haripriya.
What?
Hare Krishna, what happened? Yes, speak up, Haripriya.
Yes. Prabhuji, first Krishna protected Arjuna from Bhagadatta, the
Yes.
Vaishnava
Astra.
Astra, and
That's it. Let's one point.
point.
We'll take input from other.
Jadrath.
Yes, good. So Bhagadatta, if Krishna would not have taken that weapon on himself, then Arjuna would have died. Thank you, Haripriya. Let's go to someone else. Who would like to give another answer? Hemangi and Dhruvam.
Prabhuji, we can say from before the war also.
Before the war, let's focus on the war because the reason is Krishna had taken a vow not to lift a weapon or not to take part in a war. But
Prabhuji,
yet,
Krishna take the wheel to kill Bhishma.
yes, Lord Shri Krishna protected Arjuna from the Bhishma because Bhishma was about to kill Krishna and then Krishna took a wheel and defended Arjuna. Correct. Thank you, Dhruva. Who else? What other incidents are there when Krishna so far? Okay, let's go with Haridarshan. Then I say Rishabh. Many of you have hands. Yes, Haridarshan.
Prabhuji, when Bhishma put his powers in 5 arrows, Krishna
Yes.
told that take the 5
Yes,
arrows.
it was Krishna again who told Yudhishthira Maharaj. Nobody knew apart from Duryodhana and Bhishma what had happened, but Krishna said, that on the 9th evening, not the 9th evening, the 8th evening, like this, Bhishma, Arjuna, go to Duryodhan and ask him to give you a return of favor that he had promised. Yes, thank you, Haridarshan. The third incident has been narrated. What else? Any other point? Yes, Nandakumar.
Yes, Prabhuji, you can hear, no?
So this is going to be this is definitely going to be a question in your quiz, huh? So if you don't know, write down the answers beforehand. But
Prabhuji,
definitely,
you can hear?
yes, we all can hear you.
Can I give the answer like incident that happened after 14?
No.
Can I please?
That is breaking the rules of the quiz. So you don't break the rules how Dronacharya broke the rules of the codes of conduct of war. So you stay with the codes of the quiz.
Okay.
Within the 40 days.
If Lord Krishna hadn't narrated the Bhagavatam, Arjuna wouldn't have come.
Okay, that's a wonderful point. Because Krishna pacified and corrected Arjuna, because of it, Arjuna fought. Correct. Otherwise, Pandavas would not have won. Very good point, Nandakumar. The 4 reasons we have got. What else? Is there any more reason? Rishabdev. I see Paki's hand. I see Rajpriya, Kavya, Shriram, Jagannath.
Jayadratha also. From Jayadratha,
Yes. Just the event that we discussed today. If Krishna would not have thrown Sudarshan Chakra to cause solar eclipse, Arjuna would have died. And not only that, Krishna told Arjuna the secret of how to kill Jayadratha. Even if Arjuna would have killed Jayadratha, then Arjuna would have died because of the blessing that Jayadratha had. Krishna told not only kill Jayadratha, but shoot the arrow such a way that the head of Jayadratha falls onto the lap of his father, so that you don't die, but the father dies. The 5 events. We still have more events? Okay, Shriram, I see your hand up. Go ahead.
Prabhuji, Lakshagraha, wax house.
Oh, that is not within the war. We're talking about the war. The 14 days of war. Any other incidents? Yes, Paki.
Prabhuji, Krishna only told about Shikhandi.
Krishna only told about Shikhandi. I would say this way, that Krishna told Yudhishthira Maharaj on the 9th evening that you should go and ask Bhishma how to kill him. It was Lord Shri Krishna's advice, because of which Pandavas went to Bhishma Dev. So yes, so that makes the 6th reason. Anything else? There's one more point, but that's a little difficult to think of. There's one more point. Any last try? That's a little difficult. I have not explicitly narrated it. So all of you seems like in a deep meditation. What is that 7th point? Jagannath Prabhu is thinking deeply. What's gonna happen? What is that 7th secret? All of you look so tense. This is definitely looks like the last ball of the World Cup match. And you have to score 7 runs. Would you be able to hit and somehow score 7 runs? Is what your meditation looks like. Okay, I'll give you the answer. It's getting late now. Of course, this is not a direct answer, but the point is, many times the warriors came and attacked Krishna. At one point of time, one of the warriors came and he took his mace, and with all his power, he smashed the mace on the head of Krishna. Nothing happened to Krishna. Another time, Karna shot so many arrows at the body of Krishna. The body of Krishna was pierced, yet nothing happened to Krishna. The point is, if it was not Krishna, if it was an ordinary charioteer, the charioteer would have died easily. If the charioteer would have died easily, then for Arjuna to stay strong in the battle would have become very difficult. Because if there is no driver, then who would navigate the vehicle in the war? And then Arjuna's life would have come to risk. Because of Krishna, because Krishna is eternal, Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead, cannot be killed. Because of that, Arjuna's chariot and charioteer were never ever destroyed. So like that, we discussed 7 points today. So you have 7 reasons up to the 14th day how Krishna helped Pandavas in winning the war and saving their life. With that, I thank you all for your kind attention and joining us for this another session of Mahabharat. Krishna willing, Srila Vyasdev willing, because of his kindness, we are able to study this Mahabharat. We'll meet again on next Thursday evening. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So Hare Krishna. I'll take your leave now. Okay? That's everyone is saying bye-bye, right? So yeah, I'm also saying bye-bye. All right, we'll meet you next week. Okay. We'll take some questions. Okay, we'll take some questions. Vishwakan, our next meeting starts at 8:30, right? Let's see what questions I can
Yes,
take.
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Is there any questions of online?
Let me check, Prabhuji. Just a minute.
Let the streaming go, no problem.
Okay.
And by the way, the session officially ends. Those of you who have to leave, they can leave. So let's begin. Mishti, go ahead with you.
Prabhuji, I have a question regarding the Jayadratha incident. So why did Dronacharya give the kavach to Duryodhana? He could have just given it to Jayadratha and they didn't have to worry.
That's a good point, actually. So Dronacharya gave the kavach to Duryodhana, that too at the last moment, not at the beginning of the day, when the situation became very severe, when there was no one else left to face Arjuna, only Duryodhana. But Duryodhana was scared. At that point of time, Dronacharya said, well, let me put an armor across your body such a way that Arjuna's weapon would not be able to pierce. So yes, Dronacharya could have done the same thing for Jayadratha, but the point is, in the morning when they began their day, it was for sure that Arjuna would not be able to approach Jayadratha. It was out of question, out of bounds. So maybe that's the reason Dronacharya would have thought, let me keep one of this special weapons, special skills that I have, protective skills, for the last moment. But because of that time, somebody had to fight with Arjuna, and Duryodhana had to be given that protective layer. So Dronacharya used it. So Mahabharata does not explicitly mention, but this is my assumption.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Shriram, what's your question? We'll go with one boy, one girl, okay?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
Prabhuji, if Krishna was the guru of Abhimanyu and Arjun was the father of Abhimanyu, and both of them knew how to break Chakravyuh, right?
Yes.
So, and break and come out of Chakravyuh. So, why didn't they teach Abhimanyu? Because Krishna was also guru, so guru also teaches and father also.
What you have to understand is the knowledge was so vast. There were so many things. It is not like your CBSE school book. When you go to 8th standard, you have a certain syllabus to be finished. Which class are you in, Shrilang?
4th.
So you have a course book for your 4th standard, right? And you have to finish the course book. The education then was not like that. The education then was based on qualification. As you qualify more, and then more education is given to you. And to education, there is no limit and there is no end.
Yes.
See, if you see Dronacharya, who created the Chakravyuh, apart from Dronacharya, only Arjuna knew. Because Arjuna was the best of the student. He excelled in everything. So when it comes to education, particularly Vedic education, there is no end to it. All right?
And Prabhuji, who taught Arjuna the Chakravyuh?
Dronacharya. Who else?
And in war, means only Dronacharya, Krishna in the Kaurava side also and Pandava side also, only Dronacharya, Arjuna and Krishna.
Yes. Yes, Krishna knows everything. He is the one who is the source of knowledge. And Dronacharya only had given this knowledge to Arjuna.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
All right. Radhakund, go ahead, please. Radhakund, unmute yourself.
Prabhuji, if Lakshman was the son of Duryodhan, then what was the name of Duryodhan's wife?
Well, So many times people have asked me what's the name of Duryodhana's wife. Vyasdev never thought to give any importance to the wife of Duryodhana and did not mention her name in Mahabharata. I don't know what was the name of Duryodhana's wife.
And the name of Dushasan's wife?
Probably they didn't have any much importance in Mahabharata's role play. So Vyasdev has not mentioned, or at least it mentioned. I have not read. I don't know about the names of the wife. You see, you have to understand they were just not married to one wife. You know, they had multiple queens that time. So I don't know. It could be. So I don't know of that. Okay. All right. Who else have a question? Riyansh. Unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Okay, there is a disturbance in my voice. Let me just change. Is it better now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, great. Yes, Riyansh.
Prabhuji, in 14th day of Kurukshetra war, Arjuna killed Jayadratha's head and it fell to Jayadratha's father's lap. And when he had seen his son had died, when he woke up and when Jayadratha's head fell on the floor and Arjuna had to die na Prabhuji. Why Jayadratha's father had died in the spot?
Because the blessing was given such a way, whoever throws the head of his son to the ground would die. So when Krishna shot an arrow, the head of Jayadratha fell into the lap of Jayadratha's father. And because the father got up from his place out of shock, the head of Jayadratha fall from the lap of father on the ground. So who threw the head onto the ground? Arjuna or Jayadratha's father?
Jayadratha's father, Prabhuji.
That's the reason the father died. Hare Krishna. Chandrika, go ahead.
Prabhuji, why did Krishna save Abhimanyu and not save why did Krishna not save Abhimanyu and saved Arjuna? What was Abhimanyu's past karmas?
Well, as I said, it's not very clearly mentioned why particularly Krishna are not saved. But the point is, Krishna has already decided that only Pandavas would survive the battle. And of course, Satyaki also survived, if I'm correct. We'll see what happens in the 18 days. Everyone was supposed to die. That was what Krishna has already decided. And in terms of a death for a warrior, to die in such a fighting against the enemy in that way, Krishna told Arjuna that this is the best departure that Abhimanyu could receive. And that's the reason Krishna told Arjuna, don't you know the truth of life? Life is not all in all, reincarnation exists, body is not all in all, soul exists. Like that. So that's the reason Arjuna got pacified, knowing that yes, ultimately body has to perish. But the soul continues to live on because that's eternal. But because of family bondage and relationship, Arjuna cried. He was very disturbed. So one person had asked Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, Krishna told Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna that you are not the body but soul, but still when Abhimanyu cried, Krishna cried, Arjuna cried so much. And Srila Prabhupada said, yes, he cried because he was a human being. Human being means emotions. So it's but obvious that he would cry. But what did Arjuna do after crying? He continued and fought a battle. My voice is still breaking?
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Voice is okay now? Okay, who else have a question now? Nanda Kumar.
Prabhuji, I have a question that Bhishma and Kripacharya did not know how to break into the Chakravyuh and get out.
Bhishma Dev was already dead by now.
No, means like before his death.
Well, that is not described. That is not mentioned.
Kripacharya?
When Chakravyuh was created, it is mentioned only Dronacharya knew that and Arjuna knew that. And along with Arjuna.
And Prabhuji, I have another question.
or we do one question at a time. You can always WhatsApp me the other question. So that's the reason I say whenever you have to ask a question, you have to choose your question carefully. I'll come back to you if I have time again. Last year, yes. Or do you have a question or just a comment? Okay. You
Hare
don't have a
Krishna,
question.
Hare Krishna,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Vishnu Prabhu. Time's up.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So I would love to spend more time with all of you. Thank you for all your inclusiveness. Vishnu Prabhu, you can type my this thing WhatsApp number onto the chat box. So in case if you have questions, you can always write to me. And yeah, Jagannath, even I'm crying. Don't worry. So, oh, disable the chat. So here is my number, WhatsApp number. You can type in your questions and I'll reply. Okay. Vishnu Prabhu, you can do that. I will leave now.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So let us all once together chant Hare Krishna. Ready? With full excitement and with full might, with hands raised high, loudly say that. Okay, let's unmute everyone. Let all of you unmute yourselves. So I've just given you the right to unmute yourself, all of you. At the go of 3, will loudly chant. All of you unmute yourself quickly. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Prabhuji.
2 and 3. Hare I muted you all. Vishnu, I'm quitting.